Hi, I'm Deanna James. I own Eden Body Art Studios in Dallas, Texas, and today I'm doing a Baroque style floral Dutch painting. That's micro. So I got into art probably when I was closer to 2 or 3 years old is the first time that my mom gave me a piece of paper and I was trying to draw a face, and which she still has till this day. But when she saw me just doodling, she noticed that I was into it, and so she put me into my first art class, maybe around 3rd grade, my first oil painting class, and I kind of just been in love with it my whole life. When I was in art school, I mostly did painting and drawing. I loved painting though. When I first saw the tattoo community and thought maybe I should get into it, I thought maybe I could bring something new to the table that people didn't necessarily see before, which is a painterly technique. Especially this was 10, 11 years ago, there really wasn't so much going on. So I thought maybe I could do something different. And now that's why my tattoo has a more painterly style, is because I brought my background in art school, art classes, and painting into it. Some paintings I'm particularly inspired by would definitely be the Baroque or Renaissance era. I love doing figurative work. I love the color palettes of the chiaroscuro lighting, where it's just really, really dark background and bright light in the front, that contrast, and those pink and green undertones in the skin. So that's really my favorite and what inspires me to do a lot of the work I do. What I do is a tattoo that maybe looks like it was painted on with a paintbrush. It's very soft. Not so much like hard outlines, solid packing type thing. It's sort of literally brushed into the skin with, of course, saturation where it needs and black where it needs in order for the tattoo to hold up over time, but just that soft look. Some techniques I use to make a tattoo look more painterly is color mixing, because when you're painting, you have a specific color palette and specific color mixings to use when you're doing skin tones and also the palette itself. I really try to incorporate all those colors and all those color combinations to have the tattoos I do have that same color palette, as well as the soft pendulum motion I do with my tattoo needle that kind of looks like a paint stroke. I learned the pendulum technique from black and gray tattooers, and I learned the little 3-liner stippling technique from Alex Sorsa, people like that. As far as that painterly technique, I sort of incorporated those two things into what I do today and sort of kind of created my own thing. My client just told me she wanted a Dutch style painting of flowers, and I knew there was a ton of them, so I did my own research and found one that had the composition I wanted and that would fit long ways on a forearm. So I don't love just doing a square painting of a tattoo. I like adding at least a little bit of light stuff around it, so I'm going to be adding a few little kind of handwritten fonts, or a handwritten letter, I guess, kind of showing through the background, maybe a few circles or sketch lines. Having all these elements, I think, really adds to the design, because it's not just a square painting on your arm. There's gotta be some type of flow with just some cool little shapes and stuff to also kind of reference the story of what's happening. It's old, it's Baroque, things were handwritten back then. It just, I think adds to the whole character of the tattoo. It's really important to lay the black and gray foundation first, because it not only has your tattoo holding up over time, because black is the only ink that's carbon based, so it's heavier and it lays in your skin longer, but also you already have the values correct. So then you just lay the color right on top and you hardly have to worry about it. So after the black and gray, I like to lay all my dark colors in first. The backgrounds are really, really dark. They're usually like a dark caramel or dark red, you know, something like that. So I lay in those colors first and really try to make sure that any darks I have are gonna be in the front, because your blacks, like pupils, usually gonna be in the foreground, and everything that falls back will be a little bit lighter, and that'll draw the figure, whatever's happening, forward. After I do the darks, I then put in all my midtones. Skin tones, or in this case, all my midtones of my flowers, so like the pinks and the greens, all my hues really. And then I have my highlights for last, and those are all the really light colors and things like that. In paintings, there's never white. It's usually, you know, just a really, really light color. But I do like, for a tattoo's sake, to push that a little bit. So I might have a little white here and there, just because with tattoos, you want to create that contrast. So it'll just look better for longer. So in the future, I really want to do more of this kind of painterly style work. I would love to make huge paintings, not necessarily end it to a square canvas, but maybe blow up the figures like on a whole leg or a whole arm or a whole back. Doing large scale work would be a great transition, I think. I feel like if someone can trust me into finding the right painting for them, or suggesting something else in a style that they like, to really give them the best tattoo, I think just knowing that when you come to me you gotta trust me a little bit, is really important.